Welcome back to Virtual Reality Game Dev Vet. This is the eighth tutorial video for our friend codenamed B. Okay. um, Last little thing you missed last time, I just duplicated that last wall and put it over here and lined them up right. So, okay, next thing we need to do is go ahead and create another material because I'm going to put one on the ground too. So right click on your materials folder and create a new material. And go ahead and change this one to bump diffuse as well. Okay, and change the name. This one we're going to name floor tile. Okay, and come down to anyone you want. I'm gonna go ahead and choose this red one here. That's cool to me. And then I need to do the same thing like I did on the last one. Right click on it and well, have it selected. You can right click on it. No, excuse me. You can actually just hit Control D and duplicate it though. Change the name on this one to normal. And select out of it. Press enter. And we need to change this to a normal map as well. Go ahead and make it as bumpy as possible and click apply. Now back up to your floor tile material, come back down to your new floor tile normal map and place that on it. Now come back up to your material and go ahead and set it there, and we see it's just one giant tile. That's not really what we want. So I'm going to go ahead and try scaling it by 10 by 10. You have to do it to both the normal and the regular. See how that looks. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Okay. Now, okay, the next thing we need to do is we're actually going to put in some spotlights. Well, first let's go ahead and change all the names of these so we know what's going on. I'll name this cube 1. Well, let's rename it wall 1. Wall 1, click enter. Select the next one. Wall 2, enter. Select the next one. This is going to be wall 3, enter. Select the next one. And we want this one to be wall 4, enter. And then we want to change the name of our plane to floor. And press enter there. And now we want to take these, hold down your shift and click on the bottom one so to select them all and drag all of them up to make them children of the floor. Okay, now that's nice and organized there. We can select that whole scene all at once. Alright, the next thing we want to do is actually put in a different kind of light. We want some spotlights. I'll explain why soon. But I want to put them in a different position. I actually want to create what kind of looks like a spotlight at the top of a pillar. So go ahead and with nothing selected, come up to game object and create a cylinder. Okay. And we want to scale this on the X and Z to say like 0.2. 0.2, yeah, that's about right. And now we want to make it about 10 high, so it's That's a little too high. Let's make it about 5. See how that looks. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, pull it up a little bit and move it to the corner of one of your corners. And then we want to duplicate that. So while it's selected, Control D to duplicate it, and we want to move this one to the other corner. Okay, so now we have a couple pillars, a couple little poles put up, and now we want to set up a new material for those. We want to actually make a steel material for those. Now let's make them a little taller. Select this cylinder, rename it pole 1, so we know which one it is, and select the second one and rename it pole 2. Okay. Now select your poles and make them about, let's say 7. Make them just a little bit taller. Okay, that's about right. Okay, now we need to go ahead and right click on your materials folder and create a new material. And now I get to talk about one of the other really cool popular settings called bump specular. Okay, now this looks fairly similar to the bump diffuse, except this time what specular does, if you look at the little preview of the object here, it actually just gives off a light reflection there. So we want to change our main color to like a silverish, something like that. And then change your specular color to more of a white. And that looks good. And now go ahead and rename that material to steel. And drag it straight here. Since our poles are kind of thin, hard to select right in the scene to get them just right, you can just drag them right here onto them right there. Now if you move it around, you see it has the lights affecting it depending on which way the sun is pointing. We're actually going to delete that sun and put in some spotlights right at the top of these poles. Well, the first thing we need to do is go ahead and create something to make it look like a spotlight at the top. So go ahead and create a cube and place it about at the top of the pole, one of them, doesn't matter which one yet. Now we want to rotate it a little bit so it kind of points downward. First of all, let's go ahead and scale one of the X to say 0.5 and the Y to 0.5. Leave the other one 1. Okay, now we need to rotate it. So come up here to this rotate option, and we want to rotate it so it kind of points downward, like that. Right? Go ahead and click on the move again, and make sure your global is selected for that, so we can just move it straight down. Well, we're going to put our little enemy over here in this corner, That's what these spotlights are going to highlight our enemies. So go ahead and go back to rotate when it's on global and just move it towards that corner over there. Reselect to get it back on the full global, and we want to point it. Yeah, that's actually about right. It's kind of close enough, but point it just a little bit lower. Yeah, we wanted to point straight down at the corner over there, so yeah, that's about close enough. Okay, now go ahead and select your move again. Control D to duplicate it. Oh, Control Z to undo that. Edit, duplicate. Pull it over and move it to this, but we want to rotate this on the y-axis by 180 degrees, so just right 1/8 in front of the rotation that's already there. And move it into about the right position. Line yourself up with this scene if you need to. And that's about close enough. Okay, and we're going to put the same steel on the top of those. So rename one of these cubes we'll call it let's call it spot lamp. Okay. So once your things are lined up right, you renamed it to spot lamp 2. I went ahead and removed the colliders here. You got to remove the capsule collider from the pole as well. Then you can take your spot lamp and attach it to the pole. It's still not working right. Control Z. Yes. We're going to go ahead and have to create an empty object to put those in. The problem I keep having here every time I try to attach these objects to each other, parent these to each other, because the rotations are different, what you see here, let me go ahead and just do it again and show you what happens. This object is trying to match the rotation, position, whatnot of the other object, and we're getting some funny reactions. So to avoid that, we're going to create an empty object and parent them in that. And I'll show you how to do that real quick, but I'm out of time for this video, and so I'll come right back there. See you soon.